Startup hack. All right, guys, here's some great news today. So I got an inside report and I wanted to follow up on it. So I got this inside report and I think it's really interesting. Amazon is allegedly set to reduce its operations by 30%. And if you think that doesn't sound like a big deal, think again. This isn't just about cutting corners. This could mean a massive workforce reduction in the months to come without the headline screaming layoffs. So what does this mean for developers, especially the US economy and capitalism as a whole? So let's dive into this today. All right, welcome to Startup Hack. I'm Spencer Thomason, and here at Startup Hack, we'd love to train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps and to build custom software solutions for companies. So I do a lot of work as a fractional CTO. With over a decade of executive leadership and a solid 25 years in software development, I've mastered the art of transforming technology teams and products. So here's the inside scoop. I received a report yesterday that said every org inside of Amazon has the objective of reducing operational costs by 30%. Now, this isn't just an arbitrary number thrown out for fun. This means that the teams across the companies are under the gun by management to cut costs drastically, whether that's by reducing headcount, scaling back on services, or restructuring teams. It all points to one big thing, a massive shift within inside the company. It's been building for months and frankly for years, and I believe this 30% reduction has been strategically planned all year, and I'm going to go back and show you what I found when I was looking back here. So remember back in September when Amazon enforced its return to office mandate, its RTO? At the time, it seemed like a push to return to normal post-pandemic operations. At least that's what Jassy said, right? But now the picture is super clear. RTO is being used as a tool to force people out without the ugly press of a layoff. People who can't or won't comply are just quietly being phased out. There's no severance, no big media story, just a workforce reduction hidden under the guise of returning to business as usual. Classic corporate maneuver, right? Now, look, I'm pro-capitalism. I believe in basic economic principles to drive private enterprise. But let's call this what it is. This is corporate greed. Amazon, one of the largest corporations in the world, is effectively laying off people without admitting it and without paying severances. Andy Jassy, the CEO, should own up to what's really going on. If you're reducing your workforce by 30%, at least offer severances. Trying to dodge the responsibility by pushing people out through RTO mandates is disingenuous at best and downright predatory at worst. Now, a reduction this large, 30% of Amazon's workforce, won't just impact the company, it could have a massive ripple effect on the US economy. We're not talking about a small tech startup trimming some fat. We're talking about one of the largest employers in the country. A reduction like this could mean thousands of people losing their jobs. Now, again, I'm not saying we're seeing a 30% reduction in workforce entirely, but like they are trying to reduce 30% of costs. I get it's not all saying workforce, right? So hear me out. But this is the reason Amazon's doing it is all in the name of boosting profit margins. This is for no other reason. And if other companies follow suit, we could look at a serious economic downturn. Now, the scariest part is this is happening quietly without the usual headline screaming layoffs. Now, Amazon has gone for growth for so long, this was bound to eventually happen. And they scaled up during the pandemic bigger than most, and as large as pretty much everybody else, but bigger than most. So they're definitely feeling the bloat, I'm sure. I'm sure that this is the new CEO taking it on, looking at razor thin margins that they've operated in order to be able to grow, or not even like negative margins in a lot of years to be able to grow, and now thinking it's time to scale it back. So how do you do that without a bunch of major press, without hitting the stock, right? And that's what he's trying to do. So he's trying to figure out how to get his company to work like a well-oiled machine. Now, if your company isn't working super well and you've got disjointed and disconnected systems, hit us up here at startuphack.com/Spencer. We love to help companies build custom software solutions to be able to get their systems working together so that they can work like a well-oiled machine. Now, let's dig into the timeline a little bit of this cost-cutting operations. Back in January, Amazon started making noise about reducing costs to improve profitability. So this is January of 2024. By April, Andy Jassy was publicly stating that Amazon wasn't done lowering expenses and that more cuts were coming. So he warned us back in April. So the writing was on the wall, but most of us missed the bigger picture. This 30% reduction didn't just happen overnight. It's been meticulously planned all year. Each step, from January cost cuttings to April announcement, was setting the stage for the RTO mandate in September. Now, The September RTO mandate was the final piece of the puzzle. By forcing employees back into the office, Amazon knew that a lot of people wouldn't comply. Whether it's because they've moved, they prefer remote work, or they simply can't return for personal reasons, these employees are being quietly squeezed out. And what's the benefit for Amazon? Well, there's no need to pay severance, no layoff to report, and fewer people on the payroll. It's a slick move if you're really worrying about, like, if all you're thinking about is the bottom line, which is what they are. And Andy Jassy, Amazon's new CEO, is playing a pivotal role in this strategy. His focus on cost cutting to improve Amazon's profit margins is front and center. But there's a difference between smart financial decisions and pushing your workforce out the door without acknowledging it. Jassy has the chance to be transparent, to offer severance, and to own the decision as necessary cost-saving measure. Instead, we're seeing a strategy that maximizes profits at the expense of employees' livelihoods. Now, Amazon's been known as a sweatshop for a long time. It was funny because when I've made previous videos, a ton of the comments are like, isn't Amazon a sweatshop anyways? This isn't surprising from a sweatshop. And if that's the brand that Amazon wants, I guess they are paying top dollar. And again, I'm pro-capitalism. So if that's the brand that they want, that's fine. But they're just going to know that they're going to have to pay top dollar because nobody wants to work at Amazon. They work there because the money's good. And that's pretty much the only reason you would really want to work at Amazon. So let's not mince words. This is the definition of corporate greed. Amazon is cutting its workforce not because the company is struggling, but to boost profit margins. They're doing it in a way to skirt accountability. RTO isn't about productivity or collaboration, which was all just a veiled reasoning. It's about reducing headcount without the bad press. For a company this large with the resources it has, treating employees this way is cold. It's all in the name of bottom line, but at what cost to humanity? So what does this mean for developers and tech jobs in general? Well, Amazon isn't just a retail giant, it's a tech powerhouse. AWS, Amazon's cloud services, is a major part of the company's operations, and it employs thousands of developers. If Amazon's cutting costs by 30%, you can bet developers will be affected. Whether through direct layoffs or forced resignation due to RTO, we could see a significant reduction in tech jobs, and when Amazon makes a move like this, it often sets a precedent for other tech companies to follow. Now, in the other case, I think this is going to trickle down to their products. I think you're going to see worse Amazon products, and if that's possible. AWS is one of the leaders, not because of necessarily the quality. If you want quality, you would generally pick Azure. But generally, AWS has one of the cheaper pricing, but their quality, usually on the AWS front, is not as good. And I think we're going to see it continue to drop. Now, a workforce reduction of this scale at Amazon will hit the U.S. economy, right? Thousands of employees, many of them in high-paying tech jobs, are going to be out of work. And when a company as influential as Amazon starts cutting jobs, it can cause a domino effect across the industry. Other companies may feel pressure to reduce their own workforce to stay competitive. If Amazon's pushing profit margins, this can set precedent. This can set precedent for other companies to start pushing those same profit margins expectations. So I don't think this is going to be the bigger of a larger trend because I think most people are going to be back on the upswing. But even as they upswing, this is going to make it challenging for other developers to find a job who are competing with this influx of Amazon developers that could be hitting the market. Now, it's becoming increasingly clear that Amazon's strategy is profit over people. And again, I'm pro-capitalism. I get it. But by reducing operational costs and forcing employees back into the office, they're prioritizing profit margins over well-being of their workforce and happiness of their employees. Generally, happy developers build better products. So that means, in converse, that you're generally going to see a quality from Amazon decrease. And look, I'm pro-capitalism. I believe in the power of the free market. But I think Amazon's going to regret this decision in the long run. I think these are some of the mistakes you've seen Intel and IBM and other large behemoths make. There's a fine line between making smart business decisions and exploiting your employees. Amazon is walking that line, and in my opinion, I think they're going to see an impact in their quality. I think they're going to lose a lot of really good tenured people who don't want to return to the office. I think a lot of people are going to get fed up with this over time, and even those who aren't quitting right now are going to return back to the office disgruntled, unhappy, and producing poor quality. So where does Amazon go from here? If the company does successfully reduce its cost by 30%, you'll likely see a big jump in their profit margins, and that'll bump their stock. And all their stockholders will be happy. The CEOs will be getting fat paycheck, or the C-suite will be getting fat paychecks. And at what cost? They will lose talented employees who've been with them for a long time that will be forced back into the office. Morale will absolutely take a hit. There are full blog posts and Reddit forums full of people from Amazon who are really unhappy with what's happening in Amazon right now. So I think you'll see a decline in productivity and innovation, which is exactly opposite of what Andy Jassy said he was trying to bring people back to the office for. So stockholders will be happy, C-suite will be happy with their fat paychecks, but in the long term, this strategy will backfire. I think time will tell that. Now, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I love having a great discussion. Honestly, tell me where you think I'm wrong, because I love having those great insights, especially from people who are, if you're at Amazon, tell me what you think. Tell me what the word is on the ground, right? I love having great discussions. So make sure you leave a comment down below and make sure you like and subscribe. Here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps and to build custom software solutions. Reach out because we'd love to help. If your company has disconnected systems, we can help you get those systems connected together in some custom software solutions. So hit us up at startuphack.com/Spencer and we'll catch you guys next time. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel because we bring you lots of great tutorials and tips that every developer should know. See you next time.